just going to be doing a really simple live stream. Just sort of a, not really stream of consciousness, but like stream of consciousness style reading where I'm just gonna pull cards and see what message I feel like the cards are trying to give us without like highly structured spreads or very specific answers, rather than fixating on a problem and looking for the answer. I'm just gonna try to open myself for whatever message wants to come through. So let's do that together. Thank you for being here. Thank you, universe, for providing us all the tools that we need for this reading and also for life in general. I hope that I can deliver the message that you most need to hear, and I hope that you are able to hear the message that you most need. Okay, that's enough shuffling. Let's pull our first card. We have the Lovers. Remember that the basis of the universe is love. No matter how difficult or what struggles you might be going through in this moment, the basis of the universe is love. And if you allow yourself to draw away from whatever external difficulties you're facing and settle in at the bottom of your heart, you will feel that love that is at the basis of existence and at the basis of every experience, even the difficult ones. Don't forget that the universe loves you and the universe wants to see you flourish and prosper. And the more you trust yourself and the more you trust the energy of love, the easier the sailing will be, the smoother your journey will go. Next card. Let's go for this one. We have the King of Cups. Your emotions are not your enemy. In fact, they're your greatest weapon. But the only way that you can use them to their fullest potential is if you allow them to be whatever they are, instead of trying to manipulate or force or to impose a certain emotion or a certain reaction on yourself. The more you try to do that, the more your emotions will rear up against you and try to fight you. You can see that the image in this King of Cups is a dragon, and I've never ridden a dragon in real life, so I wouldn't know. But the way I sort of imagine is that if the dragon really wants to go in one direction and you're just like stubbornly trying to like force it to go a different direction, the more the dragon is going to persist in going wherever the dragon wants to go. And you're not stronger than the dragon. Like, if it's a battle of wills between you and the dragon's gonna win. And the dragon is your emotions. So rather than trying to butt heads with your emotions, try to see where they're trying to lead you. And that doesn't mean that you are, led by your emotions and you never use any rationality and you're fully at the mercy of your emotional ups and downs. That's not really what I mean when I say you should allow yourself to be led by your emotions. I mean, see your emotions as a team. If you're feeling an emotion very strongly, even if it's a very negative emotion, the more you try to shy away from it, the worse it will be. So allow yourself to feel that negative emotion. Allow yourself to dwell in the anxiety. Allow yourself to simmer in the depression. And that doesn't mean you don't do things to improve your life and to make your life better, but first you have to feel the emotion, then you take action. And then the emotion becomes fuel for the action. And then rather than fighting the dragon, now you're flying the dragon, and you get to direct your emotional energy and the incredible creative power that emotions have towards things that are truly important to you, towards the path that you really, really want to be on. But this isn't a process that happens overnight, right? You don't go overnight from fighting and struggling and seeing your emotions as something that makes you weak to the next day you're just like, wow, I'm a fully enlightened being now. And I totally see that my emotions are just like a super important part of me and I would never reject them. Like, that doesn't happen overnight. And if you're trying to make it happen overnight, you're actually just lying to yourself. So all of the kings, I think, have this kernel, this center of truth that is really important. So in your journey towards emotional maturity and towards emotional mastery, be honest with yourself about where you are and be compassionate with yourself about where you are. There's no point in lying to yourself and pretending that you are so good at working with your emotions and you are so amazing at letting yourself feel them when that's not actually the case. And like I said, it's not going to happen overnight. And that's why you have to be compassionate with yourself. Okay. Next message. The King of Swords. Now, if there is a card that was ever about truth, is the King of Swords. So it's very interesting that these cards came out back to back because we can often think of them as opposite, right? The King of Cups represents our emotions and the King of Swords represents our logical mind, rationality, thinking it through, planning it out. And we often see them as opposites, right? Should you follow your heart or should you follow your head? Should you go with your gut or make a logical decision? And I think them coming out together is a very deliberate choice to sort of show us that they're actually complementary and not opposite. It is logical to listen to your emotions. It is logical to try to master them in a compassionate way rather than engaging in what I would call a sort of distortion of rationality that I feel like is kind of rampant in our society these days, you know, like just the idea of just like a chat room bro who's always like, I'm gonna defeat you with my logic, you know, like the L types of this world really act like any display of emotion, like any really experience of emotional is a weakness, but that's not a rational point of view. That's actually quite irrational. Our emotions have evolved alongside with us to protect us, to keep us alive, to give us very crucial key information. You know what I mean? You feel fear when you see something scary because your body knows that that fear is more likely to make you seek shelter and more likely to protect you. You feel joy when you eat something tasty because your body knows that then you're more likely to feed yourself like high value, high calorie foods, which will keep you full for longer and which will give you more energy for like the dark winter ahead. We feel love and compassion towards each other because evolution understands that for us to arrive where we are today, collaboration is key. Collaboration is essential. Love, which is the basis of existence, love for your fellow human beings is a crucial part of evolution. We would not have built all these beautiful things that are around us if we did not have this love for each other, this suffering when we see another suffer. So don't think of your mind and your heart as opposites. Rather, they're I don't even want to say complementary parts, because parts creates this idea of division as well, right? There is no division. You are your mind just as much as you are your heart. And the sort of like play of life is trying to balance the seemingly contradictory approaches. Trust in your intellect. You don't have to be afraid of your own intellect, of your own power of analysis. That's there to help you. If analyzing your emotions helps you towards understanding them and towards managing them a little better, there's no reason why these two can't work together. And we have the Fool. The Fool is all about beginning a new journey. And if you think about it, every single day we are beginning a new journey. Every single day we are stepping out into the world and anything could happen. We don't see it that way, right? We tend to think of full opportunities, of beginnings, as being sort of more defined, either by moments in time like New Year's or your birthday or your Saturn return or whatever it is, or by accomplishments, when you finish a grade and you start a new one, when you finish high school and you start college. So in our mind, beginnings are sort of limited to these specific situations. But if you think about it, in real life, that's not true at all. You can begin anew in every moment. In every day, you can have a new approach. You can have this energy of the Fool, of just trying new things, of trusting that the universe will take you where you need to go, of taking a leap of faith and not being afraid of the fall after the leap. And I think a lot of us, like, we hear this leap of faith narrative, right? And we're like, okay, I get it. I got to take a leap of faith. And we think of the leap of faith as this moment in time, you know, I'm going to take a leap of faith by going to a college that's really far away from where I live. I'm going to take a leap of faith by dramatically quitting my job and then searching for a new one. I'm going to take a leap of faith by moving suddenly to a new place. But that's how it is in stories. In real life, the leap of faith is something that you do every day, again and again and again. And you have to keep taking the leap of faith. It's not a one and done moment, you know, like, oh, I decided I'm going to start a business. So, you know, the day that I file the LLC paperwork is the day that I take a leap of faith. No. When you're planning and doing spreadsheets for the costs and the projected revenue of your business, that's taking a leap of faith. When you design your first product, that's taking a leap of faith. When you put it on the website, that's taking a leap of faith. When you do your first marketing campaign, that's a leap of faith. So do you see what I mean? In any project, in any pursuit in life, we want it to be just like, okay, I trusted, I did it, where's my reward, universe? When you just have to keep trusting and keep taking leaps of faith again and again and again. And there's, just in the same way that there's not a single moment when you take the leap of faith, there's also not a single moment when the reward comes to you, right? It's not like, oh, I'm on the grind for 2 years and then on the, I don't know, the 2 year, 1 week, and 2 days mark, I make $1 million, and that's when I've made it. You know, there's this one moment where you're like, okay, I've officially made it. in stories, it's like that. And you can like look back at your own experience and create a narrative that's like that. But in real life, it's actually much more like, okay, your first sales is going to be your reward. You know, the first time that your business breaks even for the month is your reward. The first time that your business makes $100 is your reward. And all of these things are going to come in discrete, separate moments. And it's never going to be the be all and all. I think Abraham Hicks says, you never get it done, right? And it's this sort of energy. You never get done with the leap of faith. You're never going to receive a reward that's big enough that it's going to make it feel like the next leap of faith is easier. The next leap of faith is always going to be harder because you're leveling up, right? That's how leveling up in a video game works. The next levels are harder and harder and harder. So basically, if you're doing it right, it should just feel like a constant free fall. That's what a true leap of faith is doing it over and over and over again, not just one moment and okay, I'm done, I trusted, you know. That's not really what it is. Okay, we've pulled 4 cards. I think I'm going to pull one more card and then we're going to close it out. So this last card, kind of a big deal. Gotta pick well. We have the Ace of Pentacles. So basically, it is only when you are able to have these first 4 things aligned that you should, or that not necessarily should, you can do whatever you want. To me, in life, there's no really shoulds or shouldn'ts. You can do whatever you want forever. You know, it's your life. You can do whatever you want. But it's going to be most fruitful if you only take the physical first step after aligning all of these things. And if you feel like this Ace of Pentacles isn't taking you where you want to go, it's because these things haven't been aligned yet. You have to approach the Ace of Pentacles action from this perspective rather from a purely physical perspective, right? Life isn't like a coin slot machine where if you put in enough aces of pentacles, eventually the 10 of pentacles is going to come out. You know, you can put ace of pentacles in for the rest of your life, and if they're not coming from an inspired, aligned place, those ace of pentacles will continue to be just potential. They will never flourish into something more. But if you are aligned, if you are kind of doing these things, that we're keeping these things in mind that we talked about, then the Ace of Pentacles, even though you can't see the returns yet, right? Because the Ace of Pentacles is only the potential, that potential has a much greater chance of actually turning into the abundance, into the prosperity, into the happiness that you want it to turn into, right? So just a refresher of the things you should keep in mind before doing an Ace of Pentacles sort of actions, right? First, remember that love is what the universe is made of. Love is at the basis of all this, of all of existence, of all of our actions, of all of our thoughts. Honor your emotions. Keep a cool head and don't be afraid to take advice from unexpected sources. And lastly, keep the trust. Keep the trust the whole way through. Keep doing leaps of faith the whole way through. It's not just one moment, it's again and again and again and again. And then, and only then, plant the seed for what you want to see grow. And if you want to plant other seeds beforehand as you practice to get these things down, that's fine too. It's no problem. We live in an abundant universe made of joy, made of love. You can have as many Ace of Pentacles as you want, as many opportunities as you want. We often feel like, if this doesn't work out, then I'll never be successful. If this thing doesn't work out, then I'll never get the love of my life. You know, I missed this one opportunity, so that means I missed my boat and it's never going to come by again. These are lies that society tells you. You can start over and try again as many times as you want to. And the more you focus on these 4 things, the easier it'll be to keep trying, to keep going, and keep reaching for the goals that are important to you. The idea for this Ace of Pentacles would not be in your head if the universe didn't want you to realize it. So rest assured in that. You kind of can't go wrong. Thank you for watching. I hope you received something of value from this. I certainly did. Thank you for sharing your energy with me, and I'll see you next time. Remember to like and subscribe. Bye-bye.